Crash course on Canadian ongoing housing crisis. How will Canadian government solve it? The Canadian housing crisis has been ongoing for several years, and it is a complex issue that requires a multifaceted solution. In this crash course, we'll explore the causes of the crisis, the impact it has had on Canadians, and some of the ways that the government is working to address it. Causes of the housing crisis. There are several factors that have contributed to the Canadian housing crisis. One of the main causes is the lack of affordable housing in many major cities. This has been exacerbated by a number of factors, including low vacancy rates, high demand, and limited supply. As a result, housing prices have skyrocketed, making it difficult for many Canadians to afford to buy or rent a home. Another factor contributing to the housing crisis is the impact of foreign investment. In recent years, many foreign investors have been buying up Canadian real estate, driving up prices and making it even more difficult for Canadians to find affordable housing. Additionally, the rise of short-term rentals through platforms like Airbnb has further reduced the availability of long-term rental housing. Impact of the housing crisis. The housing crisis has had a significant impact on Canadians, particularly those living in major cities. For many people, the dream of owning a home is becoming increasingly unattainable, while others are struggling to find affordable rental housing. This has led to a rise in homelessness and housing insecurity, as well as increased pressure on social services and government programs. The housing crisis has also had an impact on the economy. The high cost of housing has made it difficult for young people to enter the housing market, which has led to a decline in new home construction and a slowdown in the real estate industry. This, in turn, has had a ripple effect on other industries that rely on the construction and housing sectors. Government solutions. The Canadian government has taken a number of steps to address the housing crisis. One of the key strategies has been to increase the supply of affordable housing. This has included investing in new affordable housing developments and providing incentives for developers to build more affordable units. Another strategy has been to implement policies to reduce demand for housing. This has included measures like increasing the foreign buyers tax, implementing stricter mortgage lending rules, and cracking down on short-term rentals. The government has also implemented programs to support vulnerable populations and reduce homelessness. This has included funding for supportive housing programs, rental assistance for low-income families, and initiatives to reduce the number of people living on the streets. Interesting stories and examples. One of the most interesting stories related to the Canadian housing crisis is the case of Vancouver's empty homes tax. In an effort to address the problem of vacant properties in the city, Vancouver implemented a tax on homes that are not occupied for more than 6 months of the year. The tax has been successful in encouraging homeowners to rent out their properties or sell them to local buyers, and it has generated millions of dollars in revenue for the city. Another example of innovative solutions to the housing crisis comes from Toronto, where a non-profit organization called Sanctuary has converted a former convent into affordable housing for vulnerable populations. The project has provided housing for more than 100 people, including refugees, women fleeing domestic violence, and people with disabilities. Here are some proposed actions that the central and provincial governments in Canada can take to address the ongoing housing crisis. 1. Increase the supply of affordable housing. One of the most effective ways to address the housing crisis is to increase the supply of affordable housing. This can be done by investing in new affordable housing developments, providing incentives for developers to build more affordable units, and utilizing vacant or underutilized properties for affordable housing. 2. Implement stricter rent control measures. Rent control is a policy that regulates how much landlords can increase rent each year. Implementing stricter rent control measures can help to stabilize rents and prevent sudden spikes in housing costs, which can make housing more affordable for renters. 3. Increase funding for social housing. Social housing is housing that is subsidized by the government and made available to low-income individuals and families. Increasing funding for social housing can help to ensure that vulnerable populations have access to safe, affordable housing. 4. Crack down on real estate speculation. Real estate speculation occurs when investors buy properties with the intention of selling them quickly for a profit. This practice can drive up housing prices and make it more difficult for Canadians to find affordable housing. Implementing policies to discourage real estate speculation can help to stabilize housing prices and prevent further escalation of the crisis. 5. Increase the foreign buyers tax. Many foreign investors have been buying up Canadian real estate, driving up prices and making it even more difficult for Canadians to find affordable housing. Increasing the foreign buyers tax can help to reduce demand for housing and make it easier for Canadians to access affordable housing. 6. Provide rental assistance for low-income families. Many low-income families struggle to afford the high cost of rent. Providing rental assistance can help to make housing more affordable for these families and prevent homelessness. 7. Develop supportive housing programs. Supportive housing is a type of housing that provides services and support to vulnerable populations, such as people experiencing homelessness, mental illness, or addiction. Developing supportive housing programs can help to provide safe and stable housing for these populations and prevent homelessness. 8. Encourage the development of secondary suites. Secondary suites are self-contained units within existing homes that can be used for rental purposes. Encouraging the development of secondary suites can help to increase the supply of rental housing and provide additional income for homeowners. 9. Provide incentives for green building. Green building is the practice of designing and constructing buildings that are environmentally sustainable. Providing incentives for green building can help to reduce the environmental impact of housing and make it more affordable for homeowners to maintain their homes. 10. Increase funding for homelessness prevention programs. Homelessness prevention programs are designed to provide support and assistance to individuals and families who are at risk of becoming homeless. Increasing funding for these programs can help to prevent homelessness and provide support to those who are already homeless. These are just a few of the proposed actions that the central and provincial governments can take to address the housing crisis in Canada. By implementing these and other policies, we can work to ensure that all Canadians have access to safe, affordable housing. Conclusion. The Canadian housing crisis is a complex issue that requires a multifaceted solution. While the government has taken steps to address the problem, there is still much work to be done. By increasing the supply of affordable housing, reducing demand, and supporting vulnerable populations, we can work to ensure that all Canadians have access to safe, affordable housing. Here is a poem on Canadian housing crisis. Amidst the grandeur of Canadian cities lies a crisis that's hard to ignore. A housing shortage that's left many homeless and left many more struggling to afford. The soaring prices of homes and rentals have made it difficult for many to cope. And those who can't keep up with the rates are often left with nowhere to hope. The streets are lined with tents and shelters as those without a home try to survive, while politicians and lawmakers debate. But solutions are few and hard to arrive. The problem is complex and multifaceted. But we must work towards a resolution. We must come together and do what we can to help those facing housing exclusion. Let's build more affordable housing. Let's invest in social programs that work. Let's regulate the housing market and put an end to greedy real estate quirks. We must remember, housing is a right, and we can't afford to let anyone fall. Let's work together and find a solution to solve this crisis once and for all. Let's build a future where all are housed and no one is left out in the cold. A future where everyone can thrive and have a place to call their own, forever bold. *****. We hope this video has given you a taste of all the incredible experiences America has to offer. If you're ready to start planning your own adventure to North America, please ensure to use our Booking.com referral link. https://www.booking.com/index.html?aid equals 7989335 to book your flights, hotels, car rentals, local attractions, and more. It's an easy and kind way to support this channel and make sure you get the best possible deals on your trip. Thank you. Hub Metaverse Team.